A lot of times people will ask what's different about our product than other people's product. I don't really pay too much attention to what the competition does. Pay attention to what we do, and things take care of themselves that way. It has to go way back to about 1978 or 79. I got a job at a local driveline company in Salt Lake. At the time, it was pretty much a job. I couldn't remember my father ever even changing a U-joint. I worked for them for about 20 years. I had worked quite closely with a number of magazine editors and writers and built up quite a name for the company I was working for and myself in drive shafts. All along, all I wanted to really see what I could do, see what I could achieve personally, but they kind of called in the reins on me and told me that they were in charge. It was in what I call the BAM, the big ass meeting. And at that point in time, I decided that I would go ahead and take the plunge, bought some equipment so that I could build the equipment that I needed to be able to build drive shafts. You have to keep in mind at the time I had no money, just a skill. So I swung my doors in, I believe, April of 1999 and worked for about a year by myself. I had my son and some of his friends would come in and pack and paint and ship drive shafts for me, but I built all the drive shafts myself, balanced them all myself, took all the orders myself. I was so busy that there were times when I would come into work on Monday at 8 o'clock and leave on Wednesday at 5. It was at that point I hired my first employee, which was a big step for me because I'm taking somebody else's life literally in my hands. And we kept growing, hired another employee from the previous company who had worked for me for a number of years. So again, adding another 20 plus years experience to the company profile. It's just been the American dream. Originally, when I first opened the business, I hoped to be able to enough business to be able to feed my family. And now here I am 20 years later and I'm feeding 13 families. But one thing I think I'm most proud of is our stellar reputation for customer service. And of course, you know, we do put out a very high quality product. Everything that I buy, it's not based on cost, it's based on quality. If I can get the quality, then we look at cost. I mean, there are things that we purchase from every major company, Spicer, Neapco, whatever, that it passes their inspection, but it doesn't pass ours. We have a pretty unique process for writing the orders up and building them. We use a letter digit code and then a length specified. We also have what I call a recipe book, and that's for each letter digit code. We have the stack length of the components. So if we take the finished length required, subtract the stack length of the components, that's how much tube needs to be cut. So we manifest those throughout the day as the orders are taken, and then in the afternoon, the guy takes that manifest with all the stack lengths written, looks at the recipe book, determines how much tube needs to be cut and what lengths, and he'll proceed to cut and finish the tubes. Then the next morning, the guys will come in at about 5 o'clock and start assembling. It starts with pressing one end of the drive shaft in, getting it straight, welding that up, then pressing the opposite end in, getting it straight and welding that up. After it's welded up again, it's straightened again. And after that, it goes to a different section where the guys will put on any additional parts like a flange or a slip yoke or whatever to finish up the drive shaft. And then it goes to balancing. One thing that I think is important to point out as far as our production methods, but we have drive fixtures that attach to the drive shaft. Each drive shaft attaches to these fixtures exactly as it would in the vehicle through a yoke or a flange. But the press that we use to push all these things together can develop about 10 tons of pressure. And oftentimes that will distort the flanges, even just a little bit, a few thousandths of an inch. So those drive fixtures that we use in the balancer, again, they're segregated and never see the pressures that would be required to distort them. We often do what we call triple checks on drive shafts for the balance, and that is, once we have it balanced and running smooth, we take one drive fixture off of one end, turn it 180 degrees, pull it back in, and then check it for consistency. And then we do it on the other end. Again, if it doesn't pass that consistency test, we know that we've got something going on and we figure it out. I don't know of any other shop that does that. After it's been balanced, it goes just a few steps across the room to an area where the drive shafts are cleaned. We use a degreaser on them. Then they're painted, and then they're thoroughly greased before they go out, because we want the customer to be able to just install it and never have any problems with people saying, oh, it failed, I didn't grease it, and so on. The packaging area is right next to where the painting area is. They package it, load it on a cart, and at the end of the day, UPS comes by, we push the cart out to the truck, and it's out the door. That's how we have, and we've always had it. Order it one day, it ships the next business day. I can't think of the last time when that hasn't held true.